First of all, thanks everyone for hopping in. We're excited to continue the client webinar series. Dale, Thad, thank you both for jumping on. Thrilled to have you on in the series here. How's it going today?
Can't complain, man. It's a good day.
Always a good day.
Yeah, great.
Thad, how are you?
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. Well, good. Can't get better than that. Well, I'm very excited to introduce both Dale and Thad today. From an agenda perspective, to set the stage, we'll spend roughly 30 minutes here kind of introducing our product team, the combined approach that we now have towards innovation, and give an update on LightEdge's backup and disaster recovery solutions. We'll plan for 10 or 15 minutes of Q&A at the end of this. But that said, this is intended to be a very open, collaborative forum. So if you're in the audience and have any questions, please drop them in at any time, and we'll grab them selectively as we can throughout the discussion here. And at the end, we'll plan to have that 10 or 15 minutes to hit anything that we don't address during the conversation today. Well, let's start with some introductions. Dale, the audience would love to hear about you, your background, a day in the life here at LightEdge. Can you give us a quick intro?
Sure. So, hey, everybody, I'm Dale Levesque, VP of Product. So me personally, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, have 2 kids that are both going to be in high school this year, which is its own interesting aspect of life, just a new stage. I've been in tech for about 25 years now. A lot of that time has been in the cloud service provider space, the service provider space in general, and most of that time has also been in product. As far as a day in the life of a product manager at LightEdge, it's pretty exciting. That's one thing that's awesome about product management and this company in general. I can be talking 1 minute to our operations folks and how we can improve or help them out. The next minute talking to a customer, figuring out what are the new features that they want to see or helping resolve any problems. And then the next minute I may be talking to a partner vendor. So every day is different. There's no single day. I mean, we were just talking earlier, in a couple hours I'll head out on a plane to meet with IBM. So everything is fluid. It's exciting. It really makes the job a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dale. Yeah, I think you're starting the East Coast and ending in the Midwest. And Thad, if I'm not mistaken, you may already be out in Denver waiting to meet with Dale and the rest of the team at IBM tomorrow.
Yep, already here.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think we'd love a quick intro from you as well. A day in the life and a little bit about your background as well, Thad.
Sure. Thad Gradato. I've been with LightEdge for roughly about 4 years now. 30 years of expertise and experience in the IT enterprise. Before I was an employee at LightEdge, I was a customer. So it was exciting. It was always a great organization, not only to be a customer of, but to work for. So yeah, it's to kind of reiterate what Dale said, very fast paced. We are moving fast. We are always constantly listening to our customers, understanding what their needs are and how we can bring that next product or reshape the existing product and make it better for our customers.
Yeah, I think that's well said. We say a lot about the voice of the customer, and for the audience, I work kind of serving the teams that support current clients, and we talk a lot about the voice of the customer. And Dale and Thad both do a great job of rolling up the sleeves and getting on the phone with clients, getting on the phone with the sales teams and the individuals that support our customers, whether they're new prospect accounts or current clients. And as you've heard, we are excited and always moving, I'd say, fast paced. At the forefront of innovation. So I think that's a great setup. Thank you both for the intros. It's a great setup for the combo here. I can give maybe a quick setup before we jump into some of the specifics. It's been awesome. So as you all know, the organizations were combined in April, and it's been a blast watching the strengths and best practices of both the organizations come together to give our clients a better experience and better, I would say, service offerings and also support. As you all know, Connectria's had deep roots in both professional and managed services for IBM, x86 workloads, and more recently, the public cloud. And the specialty has really been able to kind of tailor that experience to the need of the client and deliver those tailored, customized solutions. LightEdge, on the other hand, has had very robust service offerings. Everything is packaged with service guides, with SLAs. It's always had a very deep vein built in compliance and security. So the combination of the two organizations has a pretty powerful kind of combination together. So as we're able to leverage those strengths, we're able to deliver that tailored experience, I would say, to all workloads, independent of where they may live. So now, that extends to, on-premise, that extends to in co-located environments, in the data center, or on client prem at HQ. That's private cloud, whether it's IBM, x86, Nutanix, and even now the public cloud. So, the major players, and delivering those full kind of suite of co-managed and managed services on top of that. So we're very excited today to talk through maybe the enhanced capabilities around backup and disaster recovery, but just wanted to give a setup on maybe where we're at right now before I turn it over to Dale and Thad to kind of hit the current state of the backup and disaster recovery services. I think we can go on to the next slide here. Dale, do you want to maybe just give the team a quick intro on who the product team is, a little bit about them and what they're focused on day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. And I realize probably most folks on the call don't know what product management's function is, right? At the end of the day, I know I have to explain myself to all my friends, my family. Hey, what do you do? And I like to use an analogy that harkens back to my days in the Navy. And that's being a navigator. And that's what I feel like product management is, right? Being a navigator. At the end of the day, the navigator helps guide the ship with the input of everybody else to the final destination, to the mission, right? And that mission to us is the customer. But if you think back, like in the Navy terms, right, the mission is not necessarily dictated, by the captain or by engineering or by product managers. It really is like the customer view. So I think of the mission as the customer. Think of it as like the mission of the military. That ship fits into something very specific and has a very specific task. For us, again, that is being customer centric. So always understanding what our mission is, always understanding what our customers need and want, helps us fulfill that path. And of course, there are other things that we have to think about across the board. And this is where our team really shines. We are really focused on everybody. There's the mission, right, that we have to attain, but then there's also, hey, we have a captain, right? The captain of the ship is responsible for that ship. In our case, that's the CEO, the board of directors, our equity firms. They tell us, okay, we need to execute this mission in that way. So we take that input from them and determine, hey, what makes sense? Where do we need to go? Then we have people like Sean. I kind of look at them as our watch. They're on the front lines of the ship, right? They're looking out there. They can see what's going on in the market. They're talking to customers, everything about that. We have to take that feedback in because maybe there's a boat coming in that they don't necessarily see on radar. That watch is out there just being ever vigilant to make sure that, hey, we're doing the right thing and we can adjust course as they see fit. As you look around too, taking that analogy even further, if you think about like the weather, what's happening? To me, weather, you can't drive directly into a hurricane. I remember a couple of times we had to pull into port. That weather is the market. What's happening in the overall market? Maybe it's the tech market, maybe it's the economic market, maybe it's, things that happen in a certain market at a time. Maybe it's, hey, East Coast is down. We have to plan for market events. And so we have to plan for that weather and be very reactive to what that weather and what that market's doing. And that really helps us switch on demand, and really figure out and be very nimble. Then we have our engineering. Of course, on a ship, an engineering's job is to keep the ship running. Well, our engineering or our operations team does the same thing. And if they tell me, hey, Dale, we're having a little stress on our engines, we can't go, at 27 knots. I think that was the top speed my ship was able to go, because we're going to, blow a valve or whatever it happens to be. We're going to have to correct course, right? And we're going to have to slow down a little bit to make sure we're there. Or maybe they say, hey, everything's acting fine. We know where we want to really go full bore ahead. Great, pedal to the metal. Let's get it going. And then, we also have other functions. If you think about support, I was on a ship that was a tender. Our job was to help other ships repair. So our support team is like the folks that would do that. Think about a machinist. At the end of the day, they're the ones actually interfacing with the customer, figuring out, hey, how can we provide, what AC do they need fixed? Or, hey, what is it that you want? So our support team is there as the forefront, really helping drive that product, delivering that product. And then, of course, we have marketing, and I kind of put that back to ship's comms, right? Ship's comms. If there's somebody out there in the ocean, and we've of course run across this, you can't speak English to somebody that speaks Spanish or Japanese, right? So marketing helps us translate and effectively communicate what we need to do out there. And we take that input from them and say, hey, you know what? Here's what we think. They take that message and really make it so that everybody else can understand that. And then, of course, things like finance, think about that. That's like the refueling aspect to me. I remember many a time we'd have to sit on a boat and get refueled. But think about like before that, if fuel is running high, sure, we could go full bore. But at times, maybe there's market headwinds, and we have to be very conscious of that fuel or of that finance. Hey, let's go at 20 knots instead of 27, because we're going to burn a lot less, gallons per mile or gallons per knot or whatever it is. And of course, there's a lot of other functions, but hopefully that gives people an understanding of what we do. We basically take input from everybody and try to get the ship going in the right direction as far as product sets go. So we build and maintain the products. And there's a whole lot of things on the slide around market research and product roadmap. Yes, we own those, right? We have to be out there. We have to understand the weather. We have to understand what the market's doing and meet the market, meet our customer needs. But it's very important. My point is, it's very important that we understand our mission, understand our customers, understand what you need from us. We're happy to talk to you whenever you want. If you come off of this call and say, hey, I want to have a conversation with Thad or Dale, ring up your account person, and we will be happy to get on a call. Maybe you have a problem, maybe you have a suggestion. We'd love to hear where you're going, what you want to do. What is your 2 and 5 year technology plans? How can we help you get there? So really, at the end of the day, we're here to make sure our customers get a product that's awesome, but that's also supportable by the rest of the company, the rest of the boat. So I know that's probably enough of the Navy analogies, but Thad, being an ex-Navy guy as well, I'll hand it over to him for his piece. He navigates our business continuity and IBM and a lot of other things for us.
Thank you, Dale. As Sean said previously, as we begin to combine the two organizations, LightEdge being a trusted leader in compliant data center and cloud services, and Connectria being a pioneer in IBMI and public cloud, what our real focus on here is really understanding and combining our data protection and disaster recovery under a single umbrella. How can we provide solutions? We do not want to sell pieces and parts or individual components. With the rise of threats in cyber attacks, it's very important that from a managed service provider like we are, is to provide comprehensive solutions. Those solutions have to work with you and have to grow with you. The things that we know today may not be the things that we know tomorrow. So we are, from the product side, it's very important that we listen to our customers. We build very resilient products that can move with your organization. But again, really tailored for that next generation, that those rising threats of cybersecurity, and also from a disaster recovery. How do we minimize downtime? How do we ensure that business continuity? And then again, how do we bring this together into a single umbrella? And again, a lot of people are selling similar solutions or delivering products. We are delivering solutions that are backed by managed services. There are people behind this. They are just not pieces of software. These are people that are watching, reacting, speaking with you. So we find that to be a really value add, something that we are working towards, and always trying to expand upon. Again, we can never be just happy with the position that we're in today. Our products are just not backup recovery, just not replication tooling. It's just not the active data recovery. It's really holistically. It has to be a message. We have to listen to our customers, and we are putting solutions forward to those customers that are meaningful, that can address not only the concerns today, but where your organization wants to be in the future.
That helps. I think you hit a couple key themes there. One is around the tooling and the software is important, but it's also around the process and the either management or co-management of it, the actual actions that happen day to day to mitigate risks and be proactive on the concepts of data security, ransomware, et cetera. Maybe tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I think we're seeing now that attack, the expanse of the footprint of workloads is expanding into multiple workloads. Now with the combined companies, maybe just help us kind of get a feel for where we're positioned right now to be able to offer those types of services, whether co-managed or fully managed. As we look at the combined companies, help give the audience a perspective on our capabilities across multiple platforms, as workloads now are living across multiple platforms as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to your point, we look at things very holistically, whether that would be in the data center, whether that be on-prem or in the public cloud. We are looking at your data very use case driven. So not only are we using industry recognized tool sets to not only to reach out and protect your data in AWS, Azure, or whether that would be on-prem Nutanix, on-prem VMware, or within our data centers, or whether that would be IBM. The idea and that what we're always driving towards is continuity with our managed services. How do we bundle a very solid technology stack with the needs of our customers? So that is always that conversation. Is it going to be perfect? Not always. Backups, there always will be issues that may arise. I think that what we are striving for is that we are aware of those things. We are being proactive and at times reactive, but we want to be that extension of staff. We want to look at problems before they occur, be able and react. So I think that when we talk about wherever your data lives, I think that is a focus on a key for our managed services. We are protecting your data wherever it lives and work with you to determine what best method by which, whether that would be Veeam, whether that be Combo, maybe that would be data domain with a combination of VTL. Those are solutions that we are looking at, knowing that customers just don't have one type of workload anymore. They have multiple types of workload. They live on-prem. They live in the LightEdge cloud. They live in the public cloud.
Thanks, Dad. I think that was a good overview. Dale, anything you think you need to, you want to add there, or you think we're good to jump into some of the new kind of specific services here?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add is, backups are tough. I think Thad made that a point, but that's where we come in. We are the experts at them. We have a lot of experience running them. Will there be hiccups? Sure, but that's where we can come and help our customers. Because of that experience, we can bring them up. And again, no matter where they're at, right? Hyperscale, IBM, x86, on their prem, in our data center, possibly even in other people's data centers. So we can take all of those use cases, put them together, and we have the experience to really help them with that. If backups were easy, everybody would do it. And that's the thing. They're not easy. Every time there's a problem, we're there to help.
Well said. Well said. Awesome. I think that's a great segue to Dale, what you just said there about maybe the attack surface and that, as you were mentioning, maybe giving that that cohesive confidence across those platforms. Help maybe the audience just get a quick feel for some of the new capabilities that we have in terms of either that managed or co-managed backup experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we spoke about before, and we'll kind of always reiterate this, is that we're never just happy with where we are at. We are always looking to the future. And we've identified really two key areas: the ability to extend our backup presence to a customer's on-prem, to be able to serve them with similar level of management. And we do that in a purpose-built appliance that can be deployed to the customer's location, wherever that may be, and that with limited amount of interaction with the customer for setup, and then ultimately being fully managed and being able to provide the maximum amount of visibility for the customer, or the least amount of visibility. However, that customer, again, flexible solutions under the umbrella of LightEdge management. And then the next is Office 365. A lot of people are doing it. We are no different. We are doing it with a little bit of a twist. Not only are we protecting your Exchange, your SharePoint, your Teams, your OneDrive, but we're doing it in a very cost competitive way, and we're coupling that with the ability to drive this directly into object storage, which allows us that enhanced degree of immutability that an object store would give for your Microsoft. So I think it's a big differentiator for us.
And the one thing I would add on that on-premise backup, we've been doing that for a long time, and we've been able to take customers' data and put it in one of our data centers. But what's special about this new offering is that data is on the customer's infrastructure. It's inside of there. So the restore times, the availability of that data is so close to the customer. You're not having to bring backups and restore those over a wire, over your internet connection. It's directly plugged into your infrastructure. So that way the restore times are much quicker, and you can be much more responsive, and we can be much more responsive to any of the needs that you have.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think a lot of times we often think of backup and disaster recovery as separate. So I think this is probably a good segue to hit the disaster recovery kind of section of the agenda here. Before I jump, please remember, anyone in the audience listening in, if you have any questions, please drop them in at any time. We'll hit them as they come in, or again, we'll save maybe 5 or 10 minutes at the tail end if you have any questions that pop up. Jumping back into the agenda here, Thad, Dale, please help us maybe share with the audience on disaster recovery and how we're delivering those innovative solutions today.
So I would like to start, and I think the big key is that every organization is in a different spot of their business continuity journey. So depending on, every customer has compliance requirements that they need to meet, and those compliance requirements may be different based on industry, based on the vertical in which they operate. So the journey is different. And what we know is that there cannot be a one size fits all due to that journey. It's very important that we tailor solutions that not only meet the needs of the customer as they are today, but knowing where they will be in the future, and gives them the ability to grow within that solution. So we look at disaster recovery as in steps, as in maybe I only need a resource-driven data replication model right now. Maybe that's not backed by resources. Or maybe I'm an organization that, hey, okay, I've had issues. I know the value, but I need some help. I need resources to come and assist my existing IT organization to be able to meet that business continuity requirement of disaster recovery. How do I do that? Or all the way up to fully managed disaster recovery, where not only are we handling the replication, we're handling the recovery of your infrastructure, but we're now a component of your business continuity plan. We are working directly with your business leaders. We're also creating runbooks that are not merely infrastructure specific. We are now also introducing how are we inserting ourselves into application recovery. Not that we are recovering your applications, but we are assisting with checkpoints along there, and we're accounting for those in those run books. And more importantly, as we all know, people who've been in the industry a long time, once we've created an artifact, probably that next day that artifact is no longer valid. So within our process, we're iterating over that. We're giving you options in order for you to be able to work with us as a partner. Again, we're not just delivering a service, we're delivering a solution. And that's really how we look at it, whether that would be x86, VMware, or Nutanix, IBM, whether that is replication via SAN to SAN or Mimics. We are looking at that and constructing disaster recovery solutions that meet your needs.
I see a question in the chat there to Thad Dale. I'm curious on, and Thad, you hit that at the tail end of it. The question looks like it's, hey, what are some of the most challenging, what are the most common challenges for managing disaster recovery for, VMware x86 environments? Thad, at the tail end there, you were mentioning maybe again, the complexity of managing diverse footprints. I guess I'd maybe open the question back up to you both, Dale and Thad. What are just some of the most common challenges that you're seeing for organizations, in terms of managing disaster recovery today?
So let me start off, and then I'll let Thad add some color, because he probably has a little bit more color. To me, it's lack of testing. So we offer testing. We give customers repeatable testing. We allow them to do that, especially, they can do that as much as they want on a self-service plan, on a fully managed plan. We have those, scheduled out for them. But a lot of times customers don't take it seriously. So what happens? They get into a DR event, and then they need that equipment or those servers and that data rehydrated. And the problem is testing really helps you find your blind spots, because many times you have a customer will have a change control process or lack of change control process. So they'll add, and I had one customer, they literally turned off their Active Directory server, replaced it with a new one. But because the data mover still saw that VM in place, it had no idea that it was no longer there. Well, they went to go do a DR event, and you'd expect everything to come up within minutes, and it took a couple hours. And, our team was very good at helping them get through that, but you still need to test at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how good your data movers are. It doesn't matter how good your managed services are. If you're not testing, you're not protected. Thad, I'll let you continue with any other challenges that you may have seen recently.
Yeah, I think that those are really good points. We have dedicated teams. We're not just plucking guys or gals out of our tier 1, tier 2 teams. We have people that are dedicated, that know your business, that will meet with you personally to construct that that solution and work with you for testing. I think the other big challenge, and I think where we really stand out and differentiate ourselves, is our ability to handle those complex network customers. So we're adding more and more functionality into our disaster recovery tools, such as virtual firewalls, stretch layer 2, so we can remove complexity out. Where before I was having to re-IP several hundred VMs maybe before, now I do not have to. And we have the ability to tap into very strong networking resources at LightEdge. Those are very key pieces to be able to create that dialogue, to ask questions, to say, what happens if, and be able to create and expand on that conversation in order to deliver the solution, not only that really meets that business outcome that you're driving towards.
Yes, definitely. I think when you think through the lens on both of those, I think that was really well said on the change management and the testing piece. We've got a lot of clients that we work pretty routinely with that. So appreciate the answers there and the insight for the audience. There's another question before we maybe jump to the next slide here around Nutanix. And yes, we are offering Nutanix as a platform, as a cloud platform. And I think, Dale, it was funny as I gave the analogy earlier of the navigator, and it actually helped. I'm don't have a naval background frankly, I don't know if I trust myself driving a boat, but I certainly can see when there's a rock in the horizon and can communicate or yell very loudly. And to the audience, I think what I would say is, from the voice of the customer, we are having a lot of conversations around that, around, hey, what does this mean with the Broadcom changes? Hey, what does this mean with my changing, requirements from the business and my workloads? What are alternative options? We are having a lot more of those conversations. Just like you heard Thad paint the picture around maybe a roadmap, hey, here's where I'm at right now. Here's where I need to be in the future. I think we're also having those conversations in light of risk. So in light of risk, of changing a virtualization platform, and also cost. So cost of disruption or cost of the actual platform itself. And then having just the open conversation around that roadmap. So I think the answer is yes, definitely we have a Nutanix offering. And then yes, I'd say we're actively having those conversations right now as we speak. And would welcome those. If you're interested in having it, please reach out and we'll happily bring the right people to the call. I think keeping on pace here, Thad, we can hit this, and then maybe we'll just share a quick client story, maybe specific to what you and Dale mentioned on those challenges with DR. Do you want to hit this one, Thad, real quick?
Sure. As we continue to grow our data protection platforms, we know that it is essential for customers to be able to know that their data within their backup infrastructure is protected. So we are the future of our next generation platforms. We'll start integrating advanced threat detection directly into our backup products. So as we back up your data, we are knowing if there are problems, we can reach out, we can assist with remediation. So we feel that with the environment that we live in, it is that next logical progression where we know that we need to go from a data protection service delivery point of view. And then the next piece is that how do we create and get your data not only in a secure way, which whether that would be through our own encrypted backups, but how do we push that off into other lower cost storage options? So we're expanding capabilities for our customers who may need that next level of archive. how do we provide that in the most cost effective and a logical method without being extraordinarily onerous. And again, all wrapped up in how can we deliver that expanded archive solution through a managed service. So where you can take that peace of mind and know that, LightEdge has got this. I have that level of confidence. So.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I think there's an idea of hey, we have the service defined, we have the SLAs, but we also can tailor it to the individual clients, to the client business or workload need. There's a question in the chat, I think, that I want to maybe just take a quick second and hit Dale and Thad. It's around the granularity of recovery. And the question is it possible to recover, a single system without declaring a full DR event?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think that based upon what your needs are or what your, declared event may be, yeah, we can absolutely do partial failovers, sandboxes, isolation failovers, to be able to recover that data, to be able to provide you access to that data, whether that would just be to mitigate the declared event, or maybe that is in relationship to a ransomware event where we can isolate that data off. But yes, especially from a disaster recovery or a managed disaster recovery, what we look at as we work through the process with you is that we look at and provide declaration guidance. So as part of our run book service, we are looking at things that are risks to your organization and how would you want to react in different types of situations, and how can we create a run book and or a process that would assist with mitigating those risks.
That's great, and I heard the word run book there. I think we often say that a lot, at least internally, probably externally, and it's obviously an industry term. But there's another question that rolled in that kind of it parlays right into that. The question is, in an IBMI HADR environment, how often are you doing synchronization checks? So I think the question is around maybe a little bit around that co-management piece, that proactive alerting, monitoring, communication, collaboration with the client. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what that looks like, and then how that parlays into the idea of, maybe the run book and that change management process as well?
Yeah, I think that when we talk about data replication and data syncing, I think that it's highly collaborative. We want to make sure that we understand what your business needs are in order for us to tailor that solution, whether that would be, an HA backed by SAN replication and or a solution that is backed by Mimics. Or another data replication tool. I think it's very important that, at least from our side, that we're working closely with the customer or to understand what those recovery point objectives need to be, and so we can tailor a solution around what that is. What is that level of data loss that a customer can incur before it's detrimental? And I think that we want to sit down and have those honest conversations, whether that would be IBMI or x86, to be able to understand that so we can use the right tool to protect that data.
Yeah, that helps. I think, thank you for the question as well. I think the intent there is that we probably have the solution or the capability to meet what the business requirement is, and also in conjunction with the technology piece, and also what the business is acceptable from a budget. So we have yeah, you bet. We have a quick, maybe a client story I can share briefly that kind of highlights and encapsulates what Thad ran through. So, we had a client that recently signed up for what the industry says is DRAS, or disaster recovery as a service. We went through the initial onboarding process with the team, where we take the kind of the solution design and the requirements and RTPOs, we validate that, we implement it. And then we actually had a opportunity to do a validation or as Thad mentioned, a sandbox test. And that was all planned, part of that runbook process. We meet frequently with clients. We set up that kind of ongoing collaboration as well to capture any change management, any changes, or if the business requirements have changed. You may start off on, a light package and need to move towards a premium, right? Well, in this case, we were still in the initial stages, but there was a declared event, and the idea was that we had to have the environment restored prior, to the next business day, if that makes sense. We were able to get the team, internally jumped all over it. Thad, the product team, engineering and support, we were able to get the environment restored, overnight from offsite backups on a separate compute and storage stack. And fortunately, the business was able to return to work, the next following the weekend without any disruption to their clients. And that was what the client's needs were. That's how the solution was designed. And then from an onboarding to an actual testing to then the quintessential go live or event was successful because we had those planned methodical checkpoints in place. So that's a very quick use case. Again, we've got workloads that we collaborate with clients on that are tens of VMs to maybe hundreds of VMs with thousands of virtual desktops. And everyone's needs are different. So we're able to tailor the solution and that support to the need of the client. Again, just maybe a quick story there to highlight that. I did see a question pop up as I was telling the story there. Can you talk about how your DRaaS solution handles public connectivity? We're very reliant on VPN tunnels, which makes moving our DR site a big hassle. Dale, Thad, one of you want to maybe grab that question?
Yeah, I can. I think that when we talk about public cloud recovery, I think a lot of organizations are very reliant on VPN connectivity over the public internet. One of the advantages of a Connectria LightEdge solution is that we are very good partners with those cloud onboarding providers, Megaport, Zayo, so we can provide dedicated connectivity into the public cloud, lower latency, reduced egress costs, and it's right there in our data centers today. So the ability to provision that is great, and it affords our customers a great deal of flexibility when it comes to being able to move data around that is not over the public internet and not through an IPsec tunnel.
Great.
And the only thing I would only add to that is kind of futures, right? Like if you look to the future, and I know we don't talk a whole lot about roadmap here, but I think SD-WAN will help with that, and that is absolutely on our roadmap. So that gives you the ability to move those VPNs kind of seamlessly. You can go into your SD-WAN provider and say, hey, okay, the endpoints are here or now. So I think there's a lot of improvement that's coming with that, because it is, you're right. Like at the end of the day, VPN tunnels can be a pain. Right now, a lot of DR replication goes through replication tunnels unless you have a layer 2 connection into us. And many customers don't. There are options, as Thad mentioned, but we're working on helping streamline that for you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dale, for adding that. I think wrapping up here, I think we're getting close on time. To that point on roadmap, Dale, I think there's a great conversation. We hit it earlier. Dale and Thad, you both did, around the idea that, hey, we have been doing backups on-prem for a long time, and the use case around a client prem. So just wanted to hit this briefly on the coming soon, and maybe a setup for the future. Dale or Thad, do one of you just want to give the quick highlight on the Edge Cloud offering, coming soon?
So I'm super excited about this. I think, it brings our services closer to the customer. So this is what Edge Cloud is. And some people say, what do you mean by Edge? Is it a play on the LightEdge name? Does it mean Edge, from the term that people like to use out there? But just think of this as, hey, we're taking our knowledge, our footprint, and we're extending it in to wherever you need it to be, whether you have a data center that's not with us or you have it, a data center inside of one of your premise locations. We're able to basically take all of those workloads and manage that inside of there. So we'll instantiate a VMware environment, coming soon a Nutanix environment, and manage that for you just as if you were in one of our locations. And so really looking forward to this. We'll see some information come out shortly. I know Thad, this is his baby. He's been working on this for a while, so I'm sorry, Thad. But it will be out there in a very short order. As a matter of fact, if you're interested, I think we already have a couple customers that have ordered this from us, and we are able to support this right now.
We do, and it looks like there's a couple questions on that, Dale. So yes, the same disaster recovery and backup services are available in Edge Cloud. And I don't know if there's any other questions. Maybe I'll give a minute to the audience if you have any questions to put it in the Q&A, and we can wrap up here in a minute or two. But if there's any questions, please throw them in the Q&A chat, and we can hit them before we close it for today. Well, Dale, Thad, thank you both. That was great. I know, as always, every time I spend time with you both, I learned something new. And Dale, thank you for the great analogy of the navigator. I'll remember that one for a long time. So the next time you have to explain to your friends what you do, I'm confident they'll walk away knowing exactly what you do.
Yeah.
It was great. Anything, any closing thoughts or remarks, Dale or Thad, before we could call it for today?
No, I would just say it's really exciting times. I'm super excited with, the Connectria acquisition, what that brings to the table, really that true hybrid approach into the hyperscale, the AWSs and Azures of the world, with a complex IBM systems and then layering in everything that LightEdge is great at with Colo and with x86 and our backup technologies. It really is like a game changer for us. It puts us kind of top of mind, I think, when you have complex workloads. So, and not that we only need complex workloads. We can handle anything, but we're there to support you, on-prem, wherever you are, whatever your workloads are, we're there to help. And that's really exciting as somebody that's been in this space for a long time, because you don't get to see that convergence just happened all of a sudden. And so that's been really fun for the teams to get a hold of.
Awesome. Thanks, Dale. Thad?
Yeah, I would agree. At least for me, from the business continuity side, the disaster recovery, we have a team of individuals in the managed services component that really can handle very complex environments and meet those challenges head on and really perform for the customers. We are very excited to continue to expand those capabilities. I think those will be something that we'll continue to build on and focus on in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you both, Dale, and thank you, Thad. That was excellent. Thank you for the audience for attending and for the collaboration on the Q&A. We look forward to continuing the series and appreciate the time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.